Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Torah Ministries. Sorry, let me mute this here.
Nice.
Just make sure it works.
It did work.
All right. Welcome to Torah Ministries. It's good to be doing the things of Yahuwah when Yahuwah commands, on the day that He commands. 1 second. Let's turn these things off. Okay. Today we're gonna do the Torah Parsha and the Brit Chadasha Parsha. As our custom here in Nahavan Torah, we're gonna start with blessing the day, followed by the blowing of the twin silver trumpets, followed by the blessing of the Mashiach, the blessing of the name of Yahuwah, and the Shema. And then we're gonna jump in to the Torah Parsha. Yom Shabbat. Uve simchatechem, uve muadechem, uve rashei kadshechem, utekatem b'chatzot aloyatechem, ve'al zivchei shamechem, vechayu lachem lezikaron lifnei Elohechem, ani Yahuwah Elohechem.
Also in the day of your gladness, and in your appointed times, and in the beginnings of your months, you shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Elohim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim.
Baruch atah Yahuwah, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav, vetzivanu al tekiyat hazotzrot. Amen. B'shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with His commandments and has commanded us regarding the blowing of the twin silver trumpets. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. Amen. Yahuwah sefatai tiftach, upi yagita hilatecha, b'shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Yahuwah, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
Yiyu leratzon emrei pi behegiyon lebi lefanecha, Yahuwah zohi begoali, b'shem Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen. May the expressions of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart
find favor before you, Yahuwah, my rock and my redeemer. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.
It's very important I believe, it's very important for you to always ask, whenever you're, let's say, teaching about anything, that you ask Yahuwah that your thoughts be not your thoughts, but that they come from Yahuwah. At least ask the Ruach HaKodesh to guide you in whatever comes out of your mouth, because we all tend to say things that we believe, and it's important to state that that's what you believe and not this is what the Ruach HaKodesh say, because you have to be very careful when you try to interpret the things of Yahuwah. And just because you believe it wholeheartedly in your heart doesn't necessarily mean that it comes from the Ruach HaKodesh. So you have to humble yourself and ask Yahuwah to put the words in your mouth so that you don't lead people astray with things that the Torah says. Yeshayahu, let's get up and say the blessing of the Mashiach, followed by the blessing of Yahuwah's name. Birchat HaMashiach, blessing of the Mashiach. Baruch atah Yahuwah, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et derech haYahusha, b'Moshiach Yahusha. Amen.
Blessed are you, Yahuwah Elohim, King of the universe, who has given us the way of salvation
in Moshiach Yahusha. Amen. Blessing, Kedushat Hashem Yahuwah. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יחלוך סלה כי את מלך גדול וקדוש אתה יהוה האל הקדוש.
You are set apart, and your name is set apart, and set apart ones praise you every day forever. For you are Yahuwah, the great and set apart King.
Amen. Followed by the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Leolam Vayed, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yahusha Moshiach is Yahuwah. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Yahusha HaMashiach is Yahuwah. Amen.
ואהבת את יהוה אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצפה היום על לבביך ושננתם לבניך ודיברת בה ושבתך וביתך ובלבתך בדרך ובשביך ובקומך וכתלתם לאות על ידיך והיו לא תטפות בין עיניך וכתלתם למזוזות ביתך ובישריך ואהבת לרעך כמוך.
And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might, and have these words which I command you this day to be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you retire, and when you arise. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. All right, this week's Torah portion. We're gonna go to the book of Beresheeth, and our Torah parsha is from 33 through 36. Right, Isaiah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But today we'll be reading 33 through 34.
Correct. Today we'll be reading 33 through 34. Last week we read how Leah took her father's remember guys, Leah took her father's little, let's call it this little idol, and she hid it under herself when she had her menstruation, because she knew that her dad or anybody wasn't going to check. And this is where we're going to pick up in here.
Beresheeth chapter 33. And Yaakov lifted up his eyes and looked, and see, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children to Leah and to Rachel and to the two handmaids. And he put the handmaids and their children in the front, and Leah and her children after them, and Rachel and Joseph in the back. And he passed over before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him, and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept.
Mm-hmm.
And Esau lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children, and said, Who are those with you? And Yaakov said, The children that Elohim has by his unmerited favor given to Yeraved.
Now, we all know that Esau and Yaakov, they have a history that we know now, that the children of Esau have conflict with the children of Yaakov. But at the end of the day, Esau was Yaakov's brother. It's like you live with your brother your entire life, and then you have you have a big breakup, you have a big fight, and you separate for a while. Now, you could have done your brother really dirty, And that's the way that Esau saw that Yaakov did to him. He did him dirty because him selling his birthright to him did him damage. He's like, wait a second, now I don't have anything. I don't have what I should have. I should be the top. Now I'm the tail. I should be the head, and now I'm the tail. So Yaakov is scared to see him because he thinks that Esau is going to kill him. But Yahuwah put Rahamim, mercy, in Yaakov's favor. He softened Esau's heart. Esau, when he saw Yaakov, he embraced him. And they started, I could picture them. They started crying and they wept. It says here that they kissed him and they both wept. They cried. So it's not the way that Yaakov thought that things were going to be. Yaakov thought, man, this is going to be, I'm going to say sorry to this guy. He's probably going to want revenge. But this is, what happened instead.
Verse 6. Then the handmaidens came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves. And Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near with Rachel, and they bowed themselves. And he said, what do you mean by all this company?
I'm sorry, I said Leah. I meant Rachel. Rachel was the one that took the statue. Her dad's little. I said Leah by mistake. I meant Rachel. Continue.
Verse 8. And he said, what do you mean by all this company that I met? And Yaakov said, these are to find favor in the sight of my master. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. And Yaakov said, no, please. If now I have found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand, because I see your face towards me, as though I had seen the face of Elohim and you were pleased with me. Please take my bracha that is brought to you, because Elohim has dealt with me through unmerited favor, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and Esau took it.
When you give somebody a gift, and somebody denies your gift, that means they're actually,
Is that not considered rude?
Yeah, it is considered rude, but at the same time, you're removing the blessing from me that I was giving you. So you weren't being blessed. I was being blessed because I'm the one I'm giving to you. So though, when you say no, I don't want it, then that blessing doesn't come back to me. So to me, I want my blessing. I'm giving it to you. Accept it, because to me it's a blessing, even though it might benefit you, but in reality it benefits me. So he forced him to take it. This is, he said, Elohim has dealt with me through unmerited favor. We don't know what unmerited favor is. A human cannot possibly comprehend what unmerited favor is. That can only come from Yahuwah. Continue.
Verse 12. And he said, let us take our journey, and let us go, and I will go before you. And he said to him, my master knows that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds are young are with me. And if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Please let my master pass over before his bed, and I will journey on gently according to the pace of the cattle that goes before me, and the pace that the children are able to endure, until I come to my master to Seir. And Esau said, let me now leave with you some of the folks that are with me. And Yaakov said, what need do I have for them? Let me find favor in the sight of my master. So Esau returned that yom on his derek to Seir. And Yaakov journeyed to Sukkot and built himself a bayit and made booths for his cattle. Therefore the name of the place is called Sukkot. And Yaakov came and tacked and healed to a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram and camped his tent before the city. And he brought a parcel of a field, where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's Abba, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected there an altar and called it El Elohei Israel.
Amen.
Chapter 34. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she bore to Yaakov, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, Sar of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. And his being did cleave to Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov.
Why did he defile her?
Defile who he laid with?
Why did he? This is Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Sar, that means the prince of this country. He saw her, he took her and laid with her and defiled her. The reason why he defiled her, because he didn't make her a wife. He just slept with her.
That's defiling. And his being did cleave to Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, and he loved the young girl and spoke kindly to the young girl.
So he loved her. You know, he fell in love with her.
Didn't marry.
Want to stay with her, but they're not really one. They're not really a had. They're not a union. They, you know, it should have not been that way. That's not the custom of the Hebrews. For the Hebrew, you need to marry this person and stay with that person, and now you can lay with her. Now you can do whatever you want. It's not the other way around. You don't taste the cookie, and then you buy it. You buy the cookie, and that's it. And then you taste, then you eat.
Fair enough. Verse 4, and Shechem spoke to his Abba Hamor, saying, get me this young girl to be my Isha.
Mhm.
And Yaakov heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Yaakov held his silence until they had come. And Hamor the Abba of Shechem went out to Yaakov to commune with him. And the sons of Yaakov came out of the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and they were very angry, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Yaakov's daughter, which thing should not be done.
See that? You can't be lying, not only with any daughter, but Yaakov's daughter at that.
Bad mistake on his part. And Hamor,
Commune.
and Hamor communed with them, saying, the being of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him to be his Isha.
Now the father,
The king.
the king, now he wants to right the wrong. You know, at the end of the day, you will make your mistakes, but you have to right your mistakes. You can't just continue along with your mistakes. You have to make them right somehow, some way. You know, it's funny. We bring this up, but I just had a conversation with my wife upstairs, and I said that Hasatan's plan is not for you to mess up. Hasatan's plan is for after you mess up, that you stay there. That you say, you know what? I was following the things of Yahuwah, and now that I messed up, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, everything's messed up. Let me just continue my life the way it is because I messed up. The point of the Torah is for you to mess up, not for you to mess up, but for you to get back up after you mess up and right the wrong. Because if anybody tells you that you can't right a wrong, that's not true. Then you're totally denying why Yahusha came. So anytime that you commit a wrong, you have to right it. It's like when you're writing something in school and you make a mistake. What do? Do you leave the mistake? No. You either white it out or you scratch it out and you fix it. That's the whole point. Same thing with your life. You make a mistake, fix your mistake. Do not remain in your mistake because that's exactly what Hasatan wants. I know a lot of people, and I can say that I know a lot of people now that started in the faith, and this is not me bad-mouthing anybody. I'm not putting any names or any addresses, but you start in the faith, go through a hiccup, and then just leave it for completely. Just leave it. Just completely forget about Shabbats, completely forget about the Moadims, completely forget about Torah, and just go back to the filth because of a mistake, because of a misunderstanding, because it wasn't convenient, because even going to the extent of, if that person did that, then why should I follow? When your conviction is yours. You don't live through anybody else's conviction, of course. Me putting out my dirt out there in my example, that I did do something bad and break Torah, okay, he broke Torah. Everybody breaks Torah. Is that a reason for you to break away from Torah? No. Should you rebuke that person? Yeah, rebuke that person. That person deserves to be rebuked and with love should be brought back into Torah because you don't want to lose people. You don't want to lose people to going back to the filth. You go to the filth, you get up, you shower. You get dirty, you shower. You don't remain dirty. So if you want to find an excuse to leave Torah based on people's actions, good for you. I don't recommend it. Get up. Don't follow anybody. Rebuke that person when you find them doing something bad. But you continue in the faith. Don't leave the faith. Continue. Don't leave the faith. Because your faith, though you may have leaders fall. Leaders do this. Some leaders don't fall. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. You don't leave the faith. Remain in the faith. Okay? Be better than that person. Show that person that he messed up. Show that person that he became better. That you became better. That he can do better. That you will not do certain things. That you will do better than that person. Don't leave the faith. With that being said, this Abba here, he was just trying to right a wrong that his son did. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Had he wanted something else, he could have been like, you know what? He could have taken her by force and maybe have a war. He's a king at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He's a king of a place. Now, not to say that, Yaakov didn't have a large following and now Esau is his brother. We already know that Esau is bad. Esau's no joke. But at the end of the day, you try to right a wrong somehow. That doesn't mean that wrong will be wiped out forever, because you know that you committed that wrong, but at least you try to make it right. Understood?
Yes.
Verse 9. And make many marriages with us, and give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to you. And you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade in it, and get possessions in it. And Shechem said to her Abba and to her brothers, let me find favor in your eyes, and what you shall say to me I will give. Ask me much dowry and gift and dowry?
Dowry, yeah.
Oh, okay, I said it right. Ask me much dowry and gift, and I will give it according as you shall tell me. But give me the young girl to be my Isha. And the sons of Yaakov answered Shechem and Hamor his Abba deceitfully, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said to them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that has not performed Brit Milah, for that would be a reproach to us.
Okay, so we can't marry our daughters to you because you don't follow Torah. We can't marry our daughters to an uncircumcised person. So in order for you to do that, you will have to be circumcised.
So, I have a question. They're saying that they spoke to them deceitfully, so they lied to the king and the prince. And they said,
Reread.
13, and the sons of Yaakov answered Shechem and Hamor his Abba deceitfully, because they had defiled Dinah. Or what's her name? Dinah? Their sister.
Dinah. Mm-hmm. So they spoke to them deceitfully. Already in their mind, they already knew what they wanted to do with them. They wanted to kill them. So they saying, the only way that you can marry our daughter is if you do Brit Milah. Deceitfully. But that is the truth. The only way that you could come into contract with Torah, one of the ways that you could enter into the Pesach is by Brit Milah. So it is true, but they never wanted to marry their daughters to any strangers. You always want to marry your daughters to Israel. You never want to marry your daughters to any other land, because they gonna bring strange Elohim. And it's been warned to us by Yahuwah not to do those things, because when you do, not everybody's gonna want to change to Torah. A lot of people hold their religious views or their non-religious views wholeheartedly. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna give in to their Elohims. You're gonna give in to their feast. You're gonna give in to their breaking the Shabbat. You're gonna give in to a lot of things because they're not echad with you. They're not one with you. So this is why they deceitfully said that. They knew that they didn't want their daughter to marry. Continue. At least these people.
Verse 15. But in this request we will consent to you. If you will be as we are, that every male of yours performs Brit Milah, then will we give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not listen to us to perform Brit Milah, then will we take our daughter, and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man did not hesitate to perform Brit Milah because he delighted in Yaakov's daughter, and he was more honorable than all in the bayit of his Abba.
Wow.
And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the gate of their city and communed with the men of their city, saying, These men are in shalom with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land and trade in it. For look at the land. It is large enough for them also. Let us take their daughters to us for our wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only in this manner will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us performs Brit Milah, as they are in Brit Milah. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs become ours? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. And to Hamor and to Shechem his son listened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male performed Brit Milah, including all that went out of the gate of his city. And it came to pass on the third yom, when the men were still sore, that two of the sons of Yaakov, Shimon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly and killed all the males. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's bayit and went out. The sons of Yaakov came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister.
So this is exactly why they said that earlier, that they kind of knew what they were doing. They kind of tricked them into doing it because they were gonna take revenge for what they did to their sister.
It was truth with bad intentions. They were just.
But this is how serious it is in the land of Israel. This is how serious they took it. You shouldn't do that to their sister. You shouldn't do that to anybody in their land. And they made an example.
But didn't they do what they asked them to?
They did, but again, you were the one that pointed it out.
They lied.
They
So
answered
even if they did it,
deceitfully,
okay.
which is super tough because I never saw that. It said deceitfully. I've read this 1,000 times, and I've never read that it
They
was
were the
deceitfully.
ones. Yeah.
Nope, never. Baruch Hashem Yahuwah. Continue.
Verse 28. They took their sheep and their oxen and their donkeys, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth and all their little ones and their wives. They took captive and plundered even all that was in the bayit. And Yaakov said to Shimon and Levi, You have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And I, being few in number, they shall gather themselves together against me and kill me. And I shall be destroyed, I and also Kol Beit Israel. And they said to Yaakov, Should he deal with our sister as with a harlot?
So Yaakov had nothing to do with this plan. This was the two brothers
Yeah, from earlier, the ones who lied.
from earlier.
Now he's upset because he's like, You're making me out to be a bad guy because you killed the whole city.
Right. So in Yaakov's eyes, Yaakov was like, well, you know what? They're going to be as one because all you have to do is do Brit Milah. We said last time, we like to tell people, at least us in general, the Israelite community, we like to, I'm going to generalize a bit, but because everybody exaggerates anyways, but we like to tell people that they have to do this, that, and then you can follow. No, it's not. It should be something really simple. As you want to follow Yahuwah, follow me. Yahusha, follow me. Let's do this. Let's do Shabbats. Let's read the Torah. You know, you start circumcising your heart. That's really all where it starts. Then if you want to continue, then you do Brit Milah. You have to be serious about it. But you don't have to put all these requisites for you to start studying, for you to start following. Just study, just follow. And let Yahuwah, you know, bring all the knowledge to you. Start reading, let the Ruach HaKodesh, you know, guide you in the words. And therefore, Yaakov was really upset. He was really upset with their two sons, but they also said, but Dad, should they deal with our sister as with a harlot? Our sister's not a harlot. She's not to be sleeping around with dudes just because. So it's kind of like, what are you doing that?
Does the woman
Who's at fault?
even like have accountability in this kind of situation? Because they don't seem to be mad at their sister.
I don't know. And that's something that, to me,
Like when I read I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
When I read defiled, I understood defiled as in like sexual assault.
That's what I
Because
thought
like
first.
not necessarily. I think that even if it's consensual, it's still not told because they're not married. So maybe she did like him.
maybe
I don't know what fault she may have
because
or not.
throughout this passage you don't hear from her again.
No. Well, women, at the end of the day, if a woman is not married, her father is her voice. And then after she's married, her husband is her voice. So we don't hear from what she says, unfortunately. Had she cried out rape, I think he would have been, well, he would have probably been killed that day. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't kill that
Yeah.
day, to be fair.
You know? So I don't know. I'll ask my ox and see what they think. Again,
I would like to know in situations like this how the woman is held accountable, if they are.
I mean, if
like if back in these days like of Yaakov living, like if a woman, like if somebody took some a woman of Israel and slept with them from another kingdom and didn't perform Brit Milah, you saw in this example that the sons would, take it upon themselves to right that wrong because they had defiled her. But do they ever say anything about the woman, like getting with that guy? Like, do they ever talk with them and tell them you shouldn't sleep outside Israel?
Yes. So scriptures does tell you in that matter what needs to happen if a woman does that type of thing. And if you want later, I can show you. We can read a little bit into it. It tells you when a woman cries rape. It tells you when a woman sleeps outside of wedlock. It says if a woman is engaged, because an engaged woman is as a married woman. She cannot look upon any other man or another man can. So once you're engaged to that man, it's as if you're married already, just you're not sleeping together yet. So there are repercussions and there are things that women need to follow as long as men as well. Okay, today's Brit Chadasha is in the book of Mark.
The entire portion is in the description, and it is Mark 11 through 16. Today we're going to be reading only Mark chapter 11. Also, Matya put a verse in the chat from Maaseh Shlichim chapter 15 verses 20 to 21.
Read it.
But that we write to them to abstain from the defilements of idols and from whoring and from what is strangled and from blood.
Amen. That's exactly what you need to do to anybody that's coming into Torah.
And then in verse 21, for from ancient generations Moshe has in every city those proclaiming him, being read in the congregations every Sabbath, every Shabbat.
Amen. So keeping Shabbat. So this is where Matya is trying to get at for the listeners. The only things that you need for any newcomer is to tell them to keep Shabbat. Don't eat strangled foods. And what was the other one?
Abstain from the defilements of idols.
Abstain from the defilements of idols.
And from whoring.
What is?
These are the 5 things that returning Ephraimites need to do. Abstain from idols, from whoring, abstain from what is strangled, abstain from what is from blood, and observe the Shabbat.
And observe the Shabbat.
So
5 things you need to do.
Things that are in kosher, right?
What's that?
Strangled food isn't stuff that's like kosher.
Yeah, strangled food is, you can't eat those things. It wasn't killed properly.
Roadkill. That's what I think.
You can't strangle a cow then eat it. You're supposed to kill it.
Okay.
Certain things you have to eat them right way.
Torah
you have to kill them the right way.
Torah commands
No
you kill animals humanely.
Yes, no animal cruelty.
Okay, now
You cannot cook a kid in his mother's milk.
More.
let's go to Mark.
Let's go to the book of Mark. Chapter 11. We're only reading chapter 11.
We're only reading chapter 11.
Verse 1. You there? Oh, I'm sorry. Cool. Verse 1. And when they came near to Yerushalayim, to Beth-Phagi and Beth-Anya, at the Mount of Olives, he sent out 2 of his Talmidim, and said to them, go your way into the village opposite you, and as soon as you enter into it, you shall find a colt tied, on which never man sat, and loose him and bring him. And if any man says to you, why are you doing this? You say that our Abba has need of it, and immediately he will send him here. And they went their way and found
Your scripture says our Abba.
Mm-hmm.
Mine says our Rabbi.
Oh, sorry. I saw Rabbi, said Abba.
Okay.
You say that our Rabbi has need of it, and immediately he will send him here.
Okay.
And he went their way and found the colt tied by the door outside in a place where two ways met, and they loosed him. And certain of them that stood there said to them, what are you doing, loosing the colt? And they said to them, even as Yahusha had commanded, and they let them go. And they brought the colt to Yahusha and cast their garments upon him, and he sat upon him. And many spread their garments in the way, and others cut down branches off the eitzim and spread them in the way. And they that went before and that followed shouted, saying, Hoshiana, Baruch haba b'Shem Hadon Yahuwah.
Amen.
Blessed is the Malchut of our Abba Dawid that comes in the name of Yahuwah, Hoshiana in the highest. And Yahusha entered into the Yerushalayim and into the Beit HaMikdash.
Holy temple.
And when he had looked around at all things, the evening had come. He went out to Beth Anya with the 12. And on the next Yom, when they had come from Beth Anya, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree far off having leaves, he came to see if he might find anything on it. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs had not yet come. Mm-hmm. And Yahusha answered and said to it, no man eat fruit from you after this Leolam Vayed. And his Talmidim heard it.
Okay. So, Yahusha came, he was hungry, he saw a fig tree. The fig tree should have been ready. This is a it could be a metaphor.
It is a metaphor.
Well, no, you're going to see later how it's actually true as well. It did come to pass. So what happens is, if you're not ready, we remember last week we said that we want Yahusha to come, but none of us are ready. Nobody's ready. Nobody's ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? No, I need more time. No, I need more time. No, I'm really going to get my things ready. I'm really going to start doing the things of Yahuwah, after this happens. I'm really going to start implementing everything the way it is after this happens. After I get my house, then I'll start doing Shabbat. After my job gives me less hours or more hours, then I'll do Shabbat. So we're never ready. We always want more time. And Yahusha came to this fig tree to eat off its fruit, and the fruit was not ready for him. Just think about that for a second. Yahusha comes to you to eat from your fruit, and you're not ready. What does he do with a tree that does not bear fruit?
Tells it that no man will eat fruit from you.
Check what happens next.
Verse 15. And they came to Yerushalayim, and Yahusha went into the Beit HaMikdash and began to cast out those that sold and bought in the Beit HaMikdash, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of those that sold doves.
Now, Amatya he brings up a very good point, or his point of view of why he kept doing this. It's because when you go to the temple, you go there to do sacrifices. Okay, you're supposed to, if you can't bring your lamb from 10 miles away, you buy a lamb there. If you can't afford a lamb, you buy a pigeon, you buy something. So you trade money for goods. But what these people were doing was that you're supposed to offer Yahuwah the best, the best of the best, and no blemishes and none of that. They were selling whatever they wanted. They were selling speckled lamb, not speckled, but mangled lambs and pigeons, whatever.
It's like giving a bad gift. Why would you give someone that's broken?
You're not doing the things of Yahuwah. You become a den of thieves.
It's like giving someone a cheap gift.
Why give someone a broken?
Continue.
And verse 16, and he would not allow that any man should carry any vessel through the Beit HaMikdash. And he taught, saying to them, is it not written, my Bayit shall be called a Beit Tefillah for all nations, but you have made it a den of thieves. And the Sophrim and head Kohanim heard it, and sought how they might destroy him, for they feared him, because all the people were astonished at his teaching. And when evening had come, they went out of the city. And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. Mm-hmm. And Kepha called it to remembrance, said to him, Rabbi, see, the fig tree that you cursed has withered away.
Has withered away.
Did he? Is that considered a curse?
That's a curse.
I was about to say.
Because he just said no man eat fruit from it, right? Yeah, it's a
No
curse.
man will ever eat fruit from your tree. It withered
That's a
away.
threat.
Hey,
It withered away.
That's a
That's it.
curse.
You serve no purpose. Because I don't even want, he doesn't even want you for a shade.
And Yahusha, verse 22, answering said to them, and Amatya said, and it was at a high price.
Facts. Ladrona. It's true. Yeah.
And Yahusha answering said to them, have emunah in Yahuwah. For truly I say to you that whoever shall say to this har, be removed and be cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his lev, but shall believe that those things which he says shall come to pass, he shall have whatever he says. Therefore I say to you, what things you desire when you make tefillah, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. And when you stand making tefillah, forgive if you have any matter against any, that your Abba also who is in the Shamayim may forgive you your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Abba who is in the Shamayim forgive your trespasses. Amen.
Okay. So check this out. Check this out. For truly I say to you, that whoever shall say to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and shall no doubt in his heart, and shall have no doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he says shall come to pass, he shall have whatever he says. This is faith. Okay? Now, it says in the next verse, verse 24, what things you desire when you make tefillah, when you make prayers, believe that you will receive them and you shall have them. When you ask Yahuwah for something, okay, and you don't believe in your heart that Yahuwah is not going to give you what you ask for in sincerity, you have no faith. Where's your faith? It's not like Yahuwah, grant my grandmother health due to yada, 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 yada. The minute you put doubt, any little bit of doubt in it, it's gone. You should have faith. You should have already, the minute you said, heal this person, in your heart, you should already say, this is already done. Because you have heart, you have faith. Now, it also goes with forgiveness. When you ask Yahuwah for something, okay, as a good kid, as a father, and as a son, when you ask your father for something, Dad, I'm going to give you a real life example. Dad, can you help me? Dad, can you help me buy, I don't know, help me buy a motorcycle? If you are a son or a daughter, and you ask your father for that, but meanwhile, you are a bad person, and your father sees that you're a bad person, that you treat your brothers, your younger brothers, or your oldest brother, you don't respect them, you don't treat them with respect, you don't help them in any matter, you don't help your little brothers and sisters. Why should I help you? I'm not going to help you because you're wicked. Once I see that you're the type of person, as a father, I'm speaking to you as a father. Once I see that you are the type of person that you help your brothers and sisters, that you help your mom, that you help your cousins, why can I not help you? Because I see that in your heart, you are a tough person. Same thing with Yahuwah. If you're a person that you have hate in your heart for somebody, don't you dare ask me to forgive you for anything. Because you have hate in your heart. Forgive the other person. Help the other person so that I can see that and you can be rewarded. It goes the same way. What makes you think that you're better than Yahuwah? You're not. And Yahuwah gives you an example because he's the example. So now here, he says that if you don't forgive your others your trespasses, I'm not going to forgive yours either. Who are you? Are you better than me? That I can forgive you, but you can't forgive others? You're not better than me. This is Yahuwah speaking in regards to that. You're not greater than the Abba. So humble yourself. Understand that you are not the center of this universe. There's other people and everything else around you survives and lives. You're not the center of the universe. So we have to take that mindset out of our lifestyles. And when you ask Yahuwah for things, ask them and believe that it's happening. You know, when I was younger, I used to make believe that I had things. I used to make believe. And sometimes I used to even lie about it when I was younger in school. I remember telling my friends, oh, I had this, I had that, and I didn't have it, but I wanted it. I used to say it, breathe it out, and a lot of those things came to pass. A lot of things that I wanted, I eventually got them. I started working, I started getting this, I lied about it, and I made it till how does Amatya say, Nando?
Manifested it.
What?
You manifested what you wanted.
I did. I manifested, but I made it. I made it somehow, some way. But I did manifest a lot of things, and I believe in that. That's the power that you have in yourself to bring things to life. Mm-hmm. The power of words, and then you have the belief. You have to believe it in your heart. There's some people that believe some things, believe a lie so much that they make it come to pass. You'd be like,
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. There's a lot of people that do fake it till they make it. But that's the power of faith. I'm not saying that you should lie. I'm not saying that you should lie to get things done. What I'm saying is that you should have the faith, that faith that things are going to happen when you ask for them. Because that's what Yahushua is telling you, that when you ask for something tov, act as if you already got it. Because it will come to pass. That's faith. That's not magic. It's faith.
I want to read this verse that Nando put from 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 2 through 3. Proclaim the word. Mm-hmm. Be ready to do so during Moedim, mm-hmm, and at regular times. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all patience and teaching.
Amen.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound teaching, but after their own lusts shall they add for themselves extra teachers tickling the ears.
Amen.
And he said we need to be ready.
Always.
Your mind and heart have to be echad.
You have to be ready. When Yahushua comes, you have to be ready. You're not going to tell him, wait till my next birthday. I'll be ready by then. You can't do that. You have to be ready at all times. Verse 27.
And they came again to Yerushalayim, and as he was walking in the Beit HaMikdash, there came to them the head Kohanim and the Shofrim and the Zechanim, and said to him, by what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you the authority to do these things? And Yahushua answered and said to them, I will also ask you a question and answer me, and I will tell you by what authority I do these things. The mikvah from Yochanan, was it from the Shamayim or from men? Answer me. And they reasoned with themselves, saying, if we shall say from the Shamayim, he'll say, why then did you not believe him? But if we say of men, they feared the people. For all men reckoned Yochanan that he was a Navi indeed. And he answered and said to Yahushua, we cannot tell. And Yahushua answering said to them, neither do I tell you by what authority I do these things.
You can't answer me because you feel that you're going to be tricked into saying something. I can't answer you either because you don't want to profess with your mouth the truth. Both answers are true. Both answers are true, and they can't say either or.
No faith.
So it's good to see Tia Carmen in the chat says Shabbat Shalom as well.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Tia.
Hi, Tia.
Isaiah, do me a favor. Let's read the next chapter real quick.
Chapter 12, verse 1. And he began to speak to them by parables. A certain man planted a vineyard and set a hedge around it, and dug a place for the winepress, and built a tower, and rented it out to farmers, and went into a far country. And at the season of harvest he sent to the farmers in Eved, that he might receive from the farmers the fruit of the vineyard. And they caught him, and beat him, and sent him away empty. And again he sent to them another Eved.
Eved is a
servant.
A servant.
And at him they cast stones, and wounded him in the head, and sent him away shamefully handled. And again he sent another, and him they killed, and many others, beating some and killing some. Having yet therefore one son, his well-beloved, he sent him lastly also to them, saying, they will reverence my son. But those farmers said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and the inheritance shall be ours.
You hear this?
They took him, and they killed him, and cast him out of the vineyard. What shall therefore the master of the vineyard do? He will come and destroy the farmers, and give the vineyard to others. And have you not read this, Katuv? The stone.
Scripture.
The stone, which the builders rejected, has become the head of the corner. This was the master Yahuwah's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. And they sought to lay hold on him, but feared the people, for they knew that he had spoken the parable against them. And they left him and went their way. And they sent to him certain of the Prushim and of the Herodians to catch him in his words.
Now, this parable that he's saying, he's talking about all the prophets that were sent out. Okay? All these prophets that were sent down, they were killed. Okay? By Yahuwah. Now, Yahuwah sends his son. And he's already telling them, this is the my son. They're not going to do that to my son. Yet, they did. They're going to kill his son. He's talking about himself. Okay? So, what do you think the Master Yahuwah is going to do after you do this to his son?
Might kill him. Good chance.
If I have a whole bunch of workers, and I have a vineyard, and I send out a worker, and the people in the vineyard themselves that have been working there or whatever, they start killing the people I send them. I send one worker, they kill him. I send another worker, they kill him. Then I say, you know what? I'm going to send my son because they respect me. Okay? They respect me. And they say, you know what? That's the son of the master. Let's kill him so we can finally be heir of all this here. Think about this. Think about the wickedness. That's exactly what the Prushim are doing. And this is exactly why, wow, Todah Rabbah for the teachings and Amadia. And this is why we have to be careful with this Prushim and all the things that they teach about. Because these were the same people that took over the order that was put in place. These people are the same people that are teaching that should not be teaching. All these Prushim. They didn't come from the lineage that was supposed to be teaching, that was supposed to be the priests. But I'm going to let Amadia do a whole teaching about that because he has a lot of in-depth knowledge about the people from the Qumran caves, from the Qumran community.
Can't wait to hear it.
It's super tough.
So verse 14. And when they had come, they said to him, Rabbi, we know that you are a Met and are not concerned with man's opinion, for you regard not the person of men, but teach the way of Eloha and Emet.
Amen.
Is it permitted according to the Torah to give taxes to Kaiser or not?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we give or shall we not give? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said to them, Why do you test me? Bring me a penny that I may see it. And they brought it. And he said to them, Whose image and inscription is this? And they said to him, Kaiser's. And Yahuwah answering said to them, Render to Kaiser the things that are Kaiser's, and to Yahuwah the things that are Yahuwah's. And he marveled at him.
Okay. So, is the money Yahuwah's?
No.
Who made the money?
Kaiser.
So give us
Is Yahuwah looking for money?
No.
He doesn't care for your money. He cares for your heart. He cares for what you bring to the table.
All esteem to Yahuwah.
So, they're trying to trick them because if they say, you know, you got to pay taxes. Remember, these people are under the Roman rule. So the Romans right now are ruling with an iron fist. And the Jewish people are being oppressed. So they have to pay these heavy taxes or all these taxes that the Romans are asking for. So they're trying to get Yahusha to side with the Romans so that the Jews can hate him. You understand what I'm saying? But now Yahusha said, wait, bring me a penny. Whose picture is this on? Is it not Kaiser? Okay, so give to Kaiser what belongs to Kaiser. That doesn't belong to Yahuwah. I don't care about that. If that's what you need, if those are the laws you implemented in your land, we're here. You're ruling us. We got to do whatever you're asking us to do. Is it right? Is it wrong?
Verse 18. Then come to him the Zadukim, who say there is no resurrection. And they asked him, saying, Rabbi, Moshe Rabbeinu wrote to us, if a man's brother dies and leaves his Isha behind him and leaves no children, that his brother should take his Isha and raise up Zerah for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers, and the first took an Isha and dying left no Zerah. And the second took
Zerah
her
is seed.
So children. And the second took her and died. Neither left her any Zerah. And the third likewise. And the 7 all had her and left no Zerah. Last of all, the woman died also. In the resurrection, therefore, whose Isha shall she be? Since all 7 had her as an Isha.
But remember that they said that they didn't believe in the resurrection.
Yeah.
So they again, it's a play on words with trickery, because
Just trying to get an answer.
they don't believe in the resurrection, but they want him to say something to trigger the crowd. Now what does he say?
And Yahusha answering said to them, do you not therefore make serious errors, because you know not the Kit Vehakadosh, or the power of Yahuwah? For when they shall rise from the dead, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but as are the heavenly Malachim who are in the Shemayim. And concerning the dead, that they will rise. Have you not read in the Torah of Moshe how in the bush Yahuwah spoke to him, saying, I am the Eloah of Abraham, and the Eloah of Yitzhak, and the Eloah of Yaakov? He is not the Eloah of the dead, but the Eloah of the living. You therefore do greatly go astray.
Amen.
And one of the Sophrim came, and having heard them reasoning together, and perceiving that he had answered them well, asked them, which is the first mitzvah of all? And Yahusha answered him, the first of all the mitzvot is Shema Yisrael. The Master Yahuwah is our Eloha. The Master Yahuwah is Echad. And you shall love the Master Yahuwah your Eloha with all your lev, and with all your being, and with all your mind, and with all your strength.
That's the
This
Shema.
This is the first mitzvah. And the second is like it, namely this. You shall love your neighbor as yourself.
And this is why we always end our prayer with that. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. After the Shema, we say the greatest 2 commandments, which is really all 10 commandments encompassed in 2.
There are no other mitzvot greater than these.
Amen. Because they're all 10 mitzvah. They're all the 10. The 10 commandments are in those 2. If you love Yahuwah with all your heart, mind, and soul, and you love your neighbor, you fulfill all the Torah. All of it. Because you're not going to steal, you're not going to rob, you're not going to kill, you're not going to commit adultery, you're not going to sacrifice to other Elohims, you're not going to bear false witness. You're going to fulfill all the Torah by doing these 2. Period. Again, you try to trick Yahushua. You're going to try to trick the man that wrote the commandments.
They
don't know.
Trick them in. They don't know.
They don't know.
Verse 32. And the Sofer said to him,
The scribe.
well, Rabbi, you have said the Emet, for there is one Eloha and there is no other besides him.
Mm-hmm.
And to love him with all the lev, and with all the binah, and with all the being, and with all the strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself, is more than all the burnt offerings and sacrifices. And when Yahusha saw that he answered discreetly, he said to him, you are not far from the Malchut of Yahuwah.
Amen.
And no man after that did ask him any questions. And Yahusha responding said, while he taught in the Beit HaMikdash, how do the Sophrim say that the Moshiach is Ben Dawid? For Dawid himself said by the Ruach HaKodesh, the Master Yahuwah said to my Master, sit at my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. Dawid therefore himself called him Master. In what way then is he Dawid's son? And the common people heard him with Gilad. And he said to them in his teaching, beware of the Sophrim, who love to go in long clothing and love greetings in the marketplaces, and the best seats in the synagogues, and the best place at Moedem, who devour widows' houses, and for a public show make long tefillot. These shall receive greater damnation. And Yahusha sat over against the treasury, and beheld how the people cast money into the treasury, and many that were rich cast in much. And there came a certain poor widow, and she threw in 2 small copper coins, which make a cent. And he called his Talmidim and said to them, truly, I say to you, that this poor widow has put in more in than all those who have put in the treasury. For all they did put in of their abundance. But she of her poverty did put in all that she had, even all her livelihood.
That's sad. This has like dual meaning. Because yes, the widow came and putting the only money that she had into this treasury, that's not going to give nothing back for her. Nothing. Nothing. Instead, she should have took that money and helped herself out. Or better yet, these people here, these rich people should be giving that money to all these poor people. Now, this treasury is supposed to be for the people. In the Beit HaMikdash, or in a collective, in a congregation or something, if you're going to put money together, is for what?
The people.
To help everybody out, not to enrich anybody in a power position, like the way that they do now with all these churches, where people have got all this money and they got planes and everything else. That's not for you. This money should be for the poor, for the people. But here, you got the poor people making the rich people richer. Why?
It's so corrupt.
Amatya read something super tough. And I'm going to read it. From Scroll of the Nesarim.
Oh, I don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have that. I'm going to read it for you. Chapter 3, verse 35. These are books that we don't commonly have. We're looking into a lot of these books, trying to decipher, what's told, what's not. According to Amatya, I haven't read this yet, but this is a great verse. Yahusha said, charity is giving a hand to a blind man or soothing the wounds of these smitten by the Ruach, strengthening sword of life. It is good to help those in distress or those who cannot help themselves, but sometimes giving does more harm than good. Many give because it eases their conscience or raises their self-esteem. Such giving is not goodness. But when giving entails self-sacrifice, then it is better to give than to receive. For the benefit lies in the sacrifice made and not in the thing bestowed. How tov is that?
That is very tov and very applicable, like very strangely modern.
That is super tov.
Very strangely modern. It reminds me of a lot of companies, for example, that will donate a huge portion and then just so they can display that they donate to charity when it's not even a portion of their wealth.
And they do it not to help, but to pay less taxes. So you don't do it. You do it to help yourself. You don't do it to help others.
Exactly. It's even worse than if it didn't have. It would have been better if it hadn't
correct. Even
helped
giving
the
the money
taxes.
at all.
Exactly. It would have been best for them to have not given money. So this double entendre of a verse just kind of like is like an add-on to what you just read. How it's more about the sacrifice of what you're giving than it is about what it is that you're giving.
Exactly. It's better to help somebody physically. Some people just need a hug. Some people just need a conversation. Some people just want to talk. I saw, before I end this, it kind of touched me a little bit because what you see sometimes is not what it really is. I saw a guy in a video where he said that he saw his high school, his best friend from high school, and he was walking out of a gas station, and he saw him in a corner, laying down with no shirt, sitting down with no shirt, homeless. And he put on his thing, my friend, wow, what a shame. My best friend from high school is now homeless. And he goes to the guy, and the guy goes, I have cancer, man. I have cancer. I'm gonna die soon. And he's crying. And the guy's like, are you okay? He's like, no. He's like, and then the guy keeps talking to him. He's like, I'm sorry that you're going through this. Here's $20. Where are you gonna be? He's like, I don't have any place. I'm here, I'm there, I don't know. He goes, but you're okay? He goes, no, I'm not okay. And he goes, well, yeah, man, if I see you around, I'll help, whatever. And he goes, oh, by the way, look, that's my car. He's like, oh, wow, that's a nice car you have. He goes away. So his point was to put in the video, look, I helped this guy out. Now, everybody in the comments is saying, wait. This is your best friend?
From high school.
And, you're giving him money, you give him $20, and what is that supposed to do for him?
Yeah.
If this is your best friend, a lot of people are saying, oh, you could have taken him home. A lot of people are saying, no, you don't bring nobody to your house. So you got both parties, you don't know what this guy's going through. But what captured me was that he didn't sit and talk to this guy. This guy looked like he wanted to keep talking. And like that's all he wanted, to talk. And this guy just gave him like a little 3 minutes of his life. He said, I'll see you around. If I see you around, I'll help you out again. And that's supposed to be your best friend from high school, like your best friend from high school. Like, wouldn't you want to sit down, give this person a hug, say everything's going to be all right? What can I do to help you? It's not money. It's not money. Sometimes just a conversation. Those $20, they bought him a sandwich, a juice, something, and then that's it. What do you think is going to happen to him, 8 hours from now? He's going to be hungry again. So that food just served you good for 8 hours, rather than a long time conversation that could have helped him. Maybe he needs help. Maybe he needs to know what to do. Maybe there's a place he can go. But he just needed to talk.
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of that because I don't like to talk to people a lot unless they actually tell me I want to talk to you. I'm more of a person that wants to help you in the moment, and if you need me, I'm there. I'm a phone call away. And there's some things that you need to change. Sometimes it's not I'm a phone call away. It's I'm going to call you. It's not I'm there when you need me. It's let me be there. I will be there. It's certain things that we have to change because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all do things differently. We all do. So it's easier when you're here and you're looking at everybody else, what they're doing. But when you're doing it, somebody else can judge you differently.
Yeah.
With that being said, sometimes just a simple conversation helps more than $1. A simple conversation helps more than $1,000. Well, sometimes $10,000 helps more than a simple conversation. But that's just, we need to engage more in conversations with people. I've learned a lot that, at least in my family, my daughter, my son, that talking, it's really crucial and it's really important. And with my other son, Fernando, too. Talking, it's really important. It's okay. Sometimes just how you doing doesn't really engage in a conversation. You have to really sit down and talk. Because you see people outside in the street, be like, hey, how you doing? I'm good. And just keep it moving. It's the same thing. You ask your son, how you doing? I'm good. But maybe he does want to talk about something. Maybe your daughter does want to talk about something. And we need to be better at that. Really say, no, let's really talk. What's really going on? What's really going on with school? What's really going on with your girlfriend? What's really going on with your boyfriend? What's going on in your life? And it's good to have those conversations because sometimes people don't feel like talking just when you say what's up. Because it feels like you don't really care.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't care. Sometimes you just want to say it just to be polite.
Courtesy.
It's funny. I've always joked about this kind of thing with my friends because I've noticed that a lot of the things we say to be polite, like literally would be very helpful, but everyone just sees it as politeness and nobody ever answers it truthfully.
Correct.
Would you actually engage in a conversation with somebody if you passed by them and you said, how are you doing? And they said, terrible, my life's in shambles.
Yeah. Nobody says that.
Nobody says that because if you got answered with that, you'd be so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But then why ask?
I don't even know you. Yeah, why bother?
Why bother?
Yeah.
Why would you ask
Not
somebody?
asking.
I don't understand the point of small talk and
Agreed.
asking someone something
It's true.
if you're not meaning the question. Because
Why don't you just say hi?
yeah, if you want someone to respond to something back to you like automatically, you say hi and they say hello. If you say how you doing, then you should be prepared for them to tell you how you're doing.
Valid.
It's crazy.
It's valid. It's valid. Why bother? Shalom. Shalom. Peace. Peace. That's peace to you. Okay, peace to you too. Or like Ma'ak, when I say shalom, he goes, no shalom. No shalom. I'm like, all right, we got to talk. What's going on?
Exactly.
But that's tov.
That's tov.
Yeah.
And if you're honest with it and don't just take it as small talk and as a means to just reply back, it's such good communication. But nobody does that.
You just have to be. I say you. You guys know when I say you, I really mean me. So when I say you got to be better at this, yeah, you definitely got to be better at that. And that means me. So with that being said, any questions? Anything? Anybody wants to add anything?
I haven't seen anything
Tov.
since the last thing.
Tov. With that being said, Shabbat Shalom. We love you. Shabbat is still ongoing. Don't go out there spending. Don't go out there buying. Rest. Today's the day of rest. If you have family members and they're close by, go see them. Go see how they're doing. See if they need anything. Go engage in a conversation. Bring somebody a cup of, if you have leftover food, bring somebody a plate of food. Do something nice. Do something meaningful with your life. With that being said, go home, read your Bibles. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.